Yeah, I'm not really. I'm not big into the whole depth chart drama. It doesn't faze me one way or the other what Texas does with releasing a depth chart. I am very curious though of just like what that culture really is like, because there's oftentimes certainly a segment of people that want to take everything and blow it up and make it bigger than it is because it could hurt Texas, right? They want to, they're filled with drama and blah, blah, just, do everything they can to make something out of nothing. And I think there's a little bit of that going on here to some extent, but you hear certain just rumors, and it's curious to know really what the culture is there right now. Where, yes, they have a lot of talent. Yes, they've got, moderate expectations, I would think. Yes, they've got, a coach that obviously they were big on getting a couple years back, and certainly he's got to improve this year. But I don't know what to make of them, man. Like, Quinn Ewers, and that's great, but he's got great weapons around him, but I don't know. I don't know what to think of them. Like, is the culture good or bad? I have no idea. Is the team going to be good or bad? I have no idea. Like, I just have no read on Texas. And if it was typical year, then I would just listen to all the offseason hype, and I'd probably give them a couple of extra wins than they really deserve, because that's just kind of what I do by default almost every time. I'm just a sucker. Like, yeah, eventually they've got to break through, right? Why not this year? And I see the reasons for why that could be the case again this year, but I really don't know. All I do know is I definitely don't believe that Sark's getting fired unless the culture just goes completely off the freaking rails there.
They'd have to go 5-7.
And I don't
again.
think,
I don't think
that's. I don't know. That's possible.
Yeah.
I think they'd have to probably do worse than that. Yeah. But yeah, if they did that, then there would at least be some smoke rising for sure. Maybe not internally, but certainly externally there would be. So yeah, I mean, it's a really curious year for them, because they're all in on Sark. They're all in on Ewers. They've got like this remaining couple years of Xavier Worthy and, a year of Bijan and whatever else. But I don't know. They could be horrible, and I wouldn't be surprised. They could be really good, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I really have no idea.
Yeah, what would worry me if I were Sark or anybody else on that coaching staff, and I don't want this to sound like I'm anti-NIL. I'm very pro-NIL, but I've seen it with the Cowboys locker room before, where a team that hasn't done anything is getting a lot of accolades, and not that you shouldn't, dress to the nines and have that great gold chain and be all about, all that if you can. But if you're doing it on a team that's 7-9 or 8-8, then who cares? There was this sense a couple years in the Cowboys locker room, like this was a team that had won anything. It hasn't been in 26 years. None of those guys were on the 90s teams. I think Texas is fighting that same sense now, where there's so much attention around them. And yeah, it's great that there's Bijan Mustardson and Quinn Ewers has all this stuff. That's great for them individually. But as a team, are they at that point where you really want all that attention on your off the field stuff when on the field hasn't been that great yet?
That's why they play the games. And there have been so many years of disappointment. And that the fan base is fed up. And yet again, they have to be patient. And that's hard, because it's again, there's this annual, this is who we should be.
Well, they've been patient.
This is what we have. No, and that's what I'm saying. And then yet again, it may not be time. And we might find out pretty early because of who they play in week number 2. Because we'll know if it's competitive, and hell, if they pull off the shocking upset or they get drilled, it may not change how you think of them. But, that's what they'll know quickly of where this team is.
Yeah, we got to run, but I just mean that they are not like, I think if Oklahoma's really good, would that surprise anybody? No. If they were really bad, would that be surprising? I think it would be if they were really bad.
Like really bad, like if they went off the rails and didn't make a bowl game, that'd be shocking.
Yeah, if they didn't make a bowl game. Like if Baylor didn't make a bowl game, that would be shocking. If, I don't know, there's various scenarios. Like there's just things that you feel pretty good about or feel strongly about, kind of the parameters of where a team lies, whether to the extreme that they're good, the extreme that they're bad, what the ceiling is and what the floor is. And with Texas, I think it's a question of like, you know what I mean? Like there's just no real.
Yes, but is it because of the logo?
Well, yeah.
Well, of course it is. That's the only reason they're talking about.
If you took the logo off, then we would probably look at them as, okay, it'd be nice if they got to a bowl game. Yeah.
I don't know if I would with Quinn Ewers and Xavier Worthy and Bijan Robinson and, all of that. So, I mean, yeah, they're a puzzling team, and I'm curious to see what that puzzle ultimately looks like this year. That's all.
I know one thing. They have been hard to choose, hard to pick, hard to predict. They have been, no question. It might be that way again for another year. Sick on 365 Radio, 365 Sports, the top